Good evening, my fellow Skolgers. At the time of recording this, we are just under 11 hours away from the kickoff of the SkolNBolts game itself, Vikings versus Chargers, episode 22 of Zafa Talk. Thank you, everyone, for being here. We are live doing this once again. If you're watching this, obviously you're seeing the uploaded version, but make sure you follow me at twitch.tv/Zafa_gaming so you can be here for when we do have Zafa Talk live, as well as just games in general where we do all kinds of fun stuff, whether it be RP, Minecraft, Madden is a big one, Madden Mondays, if you ever are interested. We talk tons of football. We watch the games or react every Sunday night, Thursday night, Monday night, and it's all about football, baby. So make sure you check that out. We are here live tonight on my Twitch channel for the 22nd episode of Zafa Talk in preparation for the big game, which, if you're a longtime follower of this channel or on Spotify, SkolNBolts. Skol, Vikings, Bolts, Chargers. This is the one. Things have not turned out quite the way we had hoped because we're not going to make it to the game. But this is the one. This is the big one. 12 p.m. Central Time. Vikings hosting the LA Chargers. Two teams, man. If you would have told me at the beginning of the season that we would come into this game both at 0-2, I wouldn't have believed you for a second. Not for a second. So, little different circumstances than we were hoping for, but you gotta, take it as it is. Say hello to my cat Ranger. Hi. Making his first ever appearance on Zafa Talk. Hello. I'm sorry, buddy, but this is just not going to cut it. We are live, by the way. So, no cuts. We are live. 0-2 sucks. 100%. Skol chant for Ranger, says Purge. Can we get a Skol chant for Ranger? My goodness. So, coming into this game, both 0-2. Kind of, clawing to get ourselves back into position. The Vikings, I said this to friends and coworkers and stuff. I feel much better after the loss to Philadelphia than I did going into the game. A lot of things that went right, a lot of things that went wrong. I believe I touched on it on the last Zafa Talk, but there's some confidence there, as well as some new additions. Cam Akers, we will not see tomorrow in the game, but we will see, most likely, Dalton Risner. Some much, much needed depth, especially at the guard position. My goodness, Kirk Cousins needs some protection. It's what we need. The Eric Kendricks return game. Eric Kendricks comes home to Minnesota. Unfortunately, the homecoming is not going to it's not going to have that effect because Eric Kendricks is out for the game. It's sad because as much as you don't want to go against Eric Kendricks because of everything he's done for us, you want to see that nostalgia. He's back against his former team, but he is out. And on top of that, so was Austin Eckler. So both of those definitely benefit the Vikings. Definitely going to be helpful. As well as Joey Bosa is questionable. I'm going to assume that he plays, though. They're 0-2. They're also, clawing to get back into some sort of, hope, I guess you'd say. Now, with the Vikings, last Sunday was extremely helpful and beneficial to them with all three teams in their division losing. The Bears, the Packers, the Lions, all three losing their games. So, technically we're only a game back. And again, it's week 3. There's so much more football to be played. The moves that were made to get Risner in here, to get Cam Akers in here, which is very surprising. We gave up literally nothing for him. To me, that shows that we are not about to bend over backwards and give up on the season. We're here to fight, and there's so much more season to go. So there's no sense in, tanking. That'd be stupid. So as far as inactives for the Vikings, Garrett Bradbury is questionable. We'd love to see him back, but I'm assuming it's going to be more of a game time decision. We'll see with that. And Marcus Davenport, surprise, is out again with that ankle injury. Not a fan of this signing whatsoever. Not a fan in the slightest. To me, it doesn't feel like he wants to be here or wants to play. So, whatever. So be it. Go do your thing, man. It is what it is. It is what it is. Adam says Davenport's attitude is whack. I completely agree with that. 100%. Just not feeling it. As far as the predictions off of Sportsbook Wire and USA Today, they have the Vikings winning this game. 31-27 is actually the predicted score. It is kind of desperation time. There's a big difference between falling to 1-2 versus 0-3. And the following game we have Carolina, who is definitely beatable. But after that, we got Kansas City. We got San Francisco coming up down the line. We got Cincinnati. There's some tough games down the stretch. Detroit twice in the final 3 weeks, I believe. Very important that we start getting back on the winning track. Now, if you want to take any sort of positive out of the first two games, despite being 0-2, Kirk Cousins has looked phenomenal, in my opinion. I think that's should be universally shared as far as an opinion goes. At the end of the day, our quarterback's playing great. Justin Jefferson has looked great. And the defense, as far as the passing game, has looked pretty substantially better, at least, compared to last season. Being at home is plus 3 points, so very close spread. Very close spread indeed, 100%. It's not the start that we wanted, but getting back on track starting tomorrow, if we can get the dub, and then go into Carolina and get the dub, then you're sitting at 2-2. Then we got the Chiefs, the defending Super Bowl champs, who are beatable. They are definitely beatable. We are not far off from turning the tide and getting back. The run defense, obviously, a major issue in the last game for sure. DeAndre Swift cooked us, sadly. But no Austin Eckler. So no excuses, really. It's going to come down to getting the pressure on Justin Herbert, in my opinion. Danielle Hunter has looked solid this season. Him in a Brian Flores system, to me, is exactly what it should have been last season. But Donatel, we don't need to highlight on what Donatel did or didn't do. We all know how last season went. But there's significant changes that we've seen and improvements. The run game the run defense just was not there against Philly. But you clean it up. I still believe that we have a good football team. I really do. I am dead set on us being the team with an explosive offense and a decent defense. Decent. Medieval Viking says Hunter is going to add at least one more sack to his stats. I think that's very likely. I really do. I think that's extremely likely. And then I've been very impressed with the play of Caleb Evans in his second season. A healthy Caleb Evans. I think he's looked very well. I think Harrison Smith is gonna have a game. He's been a little bit quieter so far through 2 weeks, but not like in a bad way. Like he hasn't played bad or anything, but he's been a little quiet on the stat sheet. I think we see a pretty good game from him tomorrow. Maybe even an interception. I could see a pick for 22, but definitely I think he's gonna play well. Byron Murphy, I think he'll have a good game. Ivan Pace has looked very good. Obviously, as an undrafted rookie, come on. What more do you want from the guy? As long as we can contain the run and get pressure on Herbert, I don't see how the Vikings can't win this game, because offensively, Jordan Addison has looked splendid so far. KJ Osborne, if you've watched the Zafa Talk episodes from the last couple of weeks, you know my opinion on how he's done this season. But move him back to the 3. Jordan Addison at the 2. Sign me up. Jefferson has looked phenomenal. Hawkinson has looked great. The running game for the Vikings needs to improve, though. Alexander Mattison has not been getting it done on the ground. And I'm not saying it's all his fault. Obviously, I think the Reisner addition should definitely help that. And if we have a healthy Christian Darrisaw back, that should help not only in that, but definitely the pass protection as well. Because Kirk Cousins is still getting hit so much. It's scary to see, because you can't afford to have your quarterback taking that kind of punishment. You just can't. Kirk Cousins is tough as nails, but eventually that's going to catch up to him. He's 35 years old. So we'll see how that goes. But going into this game, before the season started, I thought this would be a complete shootout between two really good offenses. I'm sitting here now. I've seen how the Chargers have played, and I've obviously seen how the Vikings have played. The Vikings offense, I think, is definitely gonna stand out tomorrow. The Chargers, it's all gonna come down to Justin Herbert's protection, because if we can get to him, I don't think the Chargers are gonna perform that well offensively. No Austin Eckler, who is like the heart and soul of their offense. Keenan Allen coming off of a strong game last week, but if we can get in Herbert's face, that's not going to matter, especially if Byron Murphy can shut him down, or a Caleb Evans. I feel very confident about this game. It is very much a crucial game for the Vikings. They got to win this game. Both teams have to win this game. But I feel confident, especially at home. I think the Vikings get their first win. I think they put the pieces together. And I feel very strongly that this is going to be the turning point of the early part of the season, at least. Adam says, imagine if it's a tie. Could you imagine the SkolNBolts game itself ends in a tie, and we go 0-2-1, both teams? Ah, that'd be horrible. That'd be horrible. That would be absolutely horrible. Yikes. But I don't foresee that. I do not. I think the Vikings are going to have their most complete game that they've had all season. I think they're gonna limit the turnovers for sure. The Vikings, I don't foresee another major turnover loss for the Vikings as opposed to the first 2 weeks. Clean it up. No more frickin' fumbles. I expect Kirk to have a good game. I think JJ will have a good game. I think Addison will have a good game. And I think that the run game will improve. I'm not saying it's going to be anything crazy, but I think Madison will have a better game. Probably his best game for sure of the first 3 weeks, which will then open up the play action game. So that's my prediction. We're going to keep this one a little shorter just because it's late and we got the game coming up in 10 and a half hours here. The excitement's at an all-time high. The anxiety's already there because that's just the way it is. Purge asked, now which Justin had the bigger game? The Justin that should have won Offensive Rookie of the Year, or that Herbert guy? We can get into that all you want. Justin Jefferson should have won the Offensive Rookie of the Year. We all know it. We all know it's true. We all know it's true. Regardless, this is the one that we've had circled on our calendars for quite a while. Myself and Cactus Joe have been paying attention to that one. So it's going to be a fun one. Wish we could have made it to the game. Just didn't happen. Did not work out. So, yeah. I'm confident. I'm ready. I have gone now 10 days without Vikings football, so I'm ready to rectify that and get back into the win column with a nice W. Hopefully a multi-score W over the LA Chargers. That would be a nice staple to get that first one of the season and put some pressure back onto the rest of the division, except for Chicago, because Chicago, you're dog shit. I said it. I'm not afraid to say it. So yes, if you're new here, like and subscribe, please. Join the channel. Follow us on Twitter at SkolNBolts, Spotify at SkolNBolts as well. And how's your fantasy team looking? Ask Purge Rebellion. Let's take a quick glance at that, shall we? Actually, that's a good talking point. Before we actually hop off of here, let's take a look at the Zafa fantasy team. Let me pull this up right quick. So, Medieval Viking says Madison is getting his first touchdown tomorrow. Like that. So, fantasy team, I'm sitting at 2-0. 2-0, undefeated so far. Gotta love it. Last week was a monster week. So far this week, I've had one player from the Thursday night game, Deebo Samuel, put up a nice 26 points for me. Can't go wrong with that. As far as the rest of this week, Amon-Ra St. Brown is kind of the one guy that I'm concerned about, the questionable. Haven't seen anything that suggests that he's not going to play, but you never know. Kirk O'Chains, my guy, my quarterback. Absolutely going to stick with him, obviously, with the Chargers rank at 31st and pass protection. Projected to win, but projections don't really mean anything. But so far, the fantasy momentum has been very strong. So, unfortunately for Medieval Viking, like he said, I lost my starting running back. My team is in shambles. He had Nick Chubb. That's who I faced last week. I had a strong week from everyone on my team. He had Nick Chubb. His team put up a really, really good 150 points, but 183.56 for ya boy. Just kind of worked out well. So, coming into this one, would love to go 3-0. Great start, like I said, Thursday night with Deebo Samuel. And just need some more production from the boys. Because, my bench isn't necessarily set up badly. But, let's see, my guy has one guy on Monday, two guys on Monday, and a Sunday night. So that's 3 for the late window. And I don't have anyone past the 3:25 slot of games. So tomorrow after about 6:30 p.m., I will have to have a substantial lead because he has 3 guys going. Pickens tomorrow night. That's a good one to have. Williams Monday night, and then Jalen Hurts Monday night. So it's going to come down to the primetime games, and it's going to be very interesting to see. So, with that being said, I am excited for tomorrow, and I'm sure that we will recap this game right here on the SkolNBolts YouTube channel. Like I said, if you are not already subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. And like the video if you enjoy the Zafa Talk content. Especially if you guys enjoy the live Zafa Talk, let me know in the comments. Because I would love to do more of these going forward. Seriously, if you're not already following me at twitch.tv/Zafa_gaming, we play lots of fun games. We have great conversations. And almost all the time, especially this time of year, it comes back to football talk. So we can talk directly, to each other about football. And, all opinions are welcomed, and we just have a good time. We have a good time on the Twitch streams, and we want to keep the Zafa Talks rolling. As far as the actual podcast it goes, I can't really speak on that right now as far as the state of it, but just stay tuned. We'll hopefully have some updates soon as far as what's going forward with that, but I'm going to do everything in my power to keep this channel alive, so please, it would really mean a lot if you like the video and subscribe and, share it. So, except Eagles fans' opinions? True. We don't accept those around here. So, yes, thank you guys for tuning in. Big game tomorrow. Let's get to 1-2. Step in the right direction. Let's have a strong day for our boys. And, yes, as Purge said, have a good night, Skolgers. Thank you for tuning in to Zafa Talk. We will catch you in the next one. And y'all have a fantastic evening and rest of the weekend. Skol, baby.